What's good, you guys? You know who it is, man. It's your boy, Mr. Relentless Lex, and I'm back like I never left this mother. Yes, sir. Hello, somebody. All right, so we got Rihanna exposing what Beyonce covered up for Diddy video. And Rihanna is saying that Beyonce was there. Now, we all know that Beyonce was there. Jay was there, Beyonce was there, and Rihanna, you was there too. Cut the bull, you know. But now you want to expose Beyonce because you said Beyonce is trying to cover up for Diddy. They said there's alleged been some video footage of Diddy and Beyonce together. It's a whole bunch of sexual activities going on between this group of people, including Jay. So this is crazy. Spicy.
This happened to me. I didn't cause this. I didn't do it. This happened to me, and it can happen to anybody.
Rihanna has barely pushed out her third baby, and she's already out here being messy by spilling the tea on Beyonce allegedly covering up for Diddy and indulging in those freak-offs. A lot of people have always wondered why Rihanna never worked with Beyonce, even though they were both so close to Jay-Z, and it looks like we now have the answer to that question. Rihanna went from calling Beyonce her biggest inspiration to now barely talking about her and paying her dust. It turns out that apart from Rihanna having to deal with Jay-Z making advances at her and allegedly even SAing her in his office when she was just 17, she also had to deal with
Wow, bro. Now, I heard about that story. When she first came to America, she said she went to a meeting with Jay. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And things got pretty frisky. And he practically made her sign her contract right then and there for 6 albums, I believe it was. And he told her, he said, look, you either can sign this contract or go out the window. Now, that was the story. And he said, we're pretty high up. So I guess she decided, let me sign this contract. 6 albums, bro. 6 albums.
Beyonce trying to force her into freak-offs with Diddy. According to reports, Rihanna thought she could confide in Beyonce when she was going through all of that mess with Jay. But she quickly found out that Beyonce wasn't a girl's girl like she makes herself out to be. People actually found out just how close Beyonce and Diddy were when Freddie, who was a member of the group DaBaby from Diddy's former show on MTV, Making DaBaby, revealed that back in the day when Diddy made them walk all the way to downtown to get him a cheesecake from the cheese factory, it actually wasn't for Diddy, it was for Beyonce. And she's the one who told Diddy to make them walk instead of using a car. It's unclear the exact part of New York they were in at the time, but the trip to downtown by foot was 4 hours long, and he made them walk there to get him a cheesecake. This was one of the earliest signs that
4 hours long for a cheesecake? I couldn't have done it. Personally, 4 hours for a cheesecake to get a deal with Diddy. Bro, nah. That couldn't have been me. The money is probably good, but not no 4 hours for no cheesecake.
That Diddy was a sick individual, but a lot of people were too busy cackling at him, making these boys walk that long for some cheesecake that they overlooked it. During a recent interview, Freddie P finally revealed who the cheesecake was for, and it turns out it was for Beyonce. This whole time we thought Diddy punished these boys for his own satisfaction when it was really all the request of Beyonce. Apparently, Beyonce was the one who told Diddy that she wanted cheesecake, but instead of making someone from her team go get it for her, she allowed Diddy to make the members of the band walk for hours to get it and humiliate them on national television. And you'd think that she'd be disgusted by the fact that Diddy put them boys through that just for her to get that cheesecake. But according to Freddie, she didn't care at all and went on to enjoy that cake.
In fact, a lot of people don't know that cheesecake we went and got was for Beyonce. She was upstairs the whole time. What we was talking about again? Hold on. Yeah, that's a fun fact. People don't know. People like, y'all walked together cheesecake. It was for Beyonce. I'm the type of nigga. I listen to everything you say as if it's a contract. So if you say, walk to the store, or walk to get me some cheesecake, I'll walk to get you some cheesecake. but I'm not walking back. And that's just what me and Darlon did. And they like, why y'all, you know, they hot. Like, y'all cheating. And we like, he told us to walk. He ain't tell us to walk back. So we already in the hotel like 3 hours before they got there. When they said they was coming, we went and met him in front of the building. And you know the first thing that nigga said out of his mouth? That nigga said, they said, we got the cheesecake. He was like, I want that shit, take that shit upstairs for Beyonce. Then he said, they was like, yeah, man, we wanted to tell you, Fred and Darlon,
Wow.
they ain't walk back. You know, trying to be on some snitching shit. He was like, I ain't tell you niggas to walk back.
At the time Freddie revealed this, people were wondering why Diddy would go that far to make Beyonce happy. Because so far as we were concerned, he didn't really have any business with her outside of her being the wife of his associate, Jay-Z. But it turns out she was also allegedly in them freak-offs. And this was revealed by DaBaby.
I was thinking that, like, if she was upstairs and she requested a cheesecake, then where was Jay at? And why she's upstairs by herself? Like, Diddy didn't say, make sure before y'all take that cheesecake upstairs, make sure she have on clothes, or she's in a session or a studio session or nothing. He just said take it upstairs to Beyonce. Ain't no telling. It could have been a freak off going on in at that time.
Not too long ago,
Could have
when he
been, now.
spilled the tea about the time he met Beyonce and Jay during a private party at Diddy's house. He said Diddy kicked everyone out of the room, leaving only him, Beyonce, Jay, and Diddy in the room. Once it was just them, he claims Beyonce started talking to him a lot, and she even introduced herself to him. Like, girl, you are literally Beyonce. Of course that man knows who you are. Like, stop playing. According to Jaguar Wright, this was a freak-off meeting, and Beyonce was trying to seduce DaBaby into giving her some of that hood D, because Jay was clearly not putting it down since he's getting a little owed.
Beyonce, I was at a party at Diddy
Wow,
crib,
bro. Wow.
in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people, he had put them out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there. Me and, you know, maybe about 15 others, you know.
Right.
Jay-Z and Beyonce being, you know, two of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put into perspective of the type of company I was in
Right.
at the moment, you know. And she came over and introduced herself to me like as if she had to.
Right.
Beyonce, cut it out. But I'm a big fan of your work, you know what I'm saying? Whoop the whoop, and that was just dope. That was dope as hell to me, man. That was dope.
What he is a broke down Mandingo fighter still working on behalf of the NFL. That's what he is. Period.
Now, DaBaby said that Beyonce came over and introduced herself to him. Now, of course, we all know who DaBaby is. And if you don't know who DaBaby is, he's a rapper from Charlotte, North Carolina. Great rapper. Beyonce, you know who Beyonce is. It seemed like DaBaby should have approached Beyonce and get an autograph from her, if anything. But she approached him. And like DaBaby said, she approached him like on some what's up type. You know what I'm saying? So that's crazy. Yeah, that was a setup for a freak off, bro. Beyonce, she wanted that North Carolina native. You hear me? Shout out to North Carolina, bro.
You want to know what else I also find funny? That he did that interview with that DaBaby person who sat there and told him about when he met Beyonce. Y'all remember that? That happened on Shay Shay. And he talked about how he was at the Diddy party at Diddy's house. And how after, you know, the festivities were winding down and it was getting later into the middle of the night, approaching 3 a.m., Diddy got rid of almost everybody, but he let DaBaby stay behind with him and his close friends. And then he talked about how Beyonce was there and Jay-Z was there. Not at their house, at Diddy's house. And how Beyonce presented herself to him, and she didn't have to do that because he knew who she was, and he
Yep.
couldn't believe she was
Facts.
talking to him. But she
Facts.
approached him, kind of like how she approached that old friend of his when he said that he was at the party and the little people was there, and she asked him, "Isn't this sexy?" My. How illuminating. There's been a lot of freaking off going on for a long time. Why does everybody keep... Let me tell you this. Beyonce, Giselle knows Carter. It does not matter how much money they spend, how many people, those tickets ain't gonna sell. You're caught. I wish you had the common sense that animals do when they're caught. They just surrender. But no, y'all gonna fight it to the very end. Y'all gonna bring this broke down old NFL bum who apparently will do anything with his genitals to help cover or create validity where there is none with the weirdos. With his little orange purse. Screwing people's kids. Screwing kids young enough to be his grandchildren. Shame on you. You a dirty old man. Period.
But this is where things get even more disturbing. Word on the
Wow,
street is that
bro,
at
that's
some
crazy.
point, Jay and Beyonce tried to get our girl Rihanna to join them in those freak-offs. And that's why she ran away from the industry. When she refused to do those freak-offs, they tried to sabotage her by leaking her album Anti, and that's when she knew it was time to leave. People feel like this is why Rihanna is so hesitant on doing music again, because she knows what she went through and has no interest in dealing with it again, especially when she already makes billions of dollars from Fenty anyway. Now, just for a little bit of context, Rihanna actually used to love Beyonce at one point and even called her her biggest inspiration.
Yeah, she actually wrote me this cute little letter, and she signed it with her autograph. It was so cute. When I first met her, and she wrote, she was telling me, just let loose when you perform and just have fun and be in control.
However, their relationship went downhill when Rihanna began receiving mainstream success. The more she got to know Beyonce, that love started to disappear. Things took a turn for the worse when Beyonce dissed Rihanna on her song Bow Down. People dragged Beyonce for being a hypocrite because she went from preaching about girls running the world to calling those same girls B-words and demanding for them to bow down to her.
Bow down B over and over from the woman who preaches empowering women is a bit unsettling to some.
I just feel like it's kind of, it's hard to swallow. Just very hard to swallow, having seen her in a different light.
I don't like it. I don't think it's her. I don't think it goes with what she represents.
I love Beyonce, but I honestly think that Jay-Z's putting thoughts in her head.
You're on a Pepsi can, for goodness sakes, to tell B words, to bow down, and then you're saying girls run the world.
And instead of Beyonce just taking her L and realizing,
I think that screwed her up right there for a moment, bro. How can you be preaching women empowerment, and then you go and tell them same women that you fighting for empowerment for, you tell them to bow down to you, so you can have power over them? That's crazy.
She was in the wrong for coming for Rihanna like that. She got super defensive and refused to apologize.
The reason I put out Bow Down is because I woke up, I went into the studio, I had a chant in my head. It was aggressive, it was angry. It wasn't the Beyonce that wakes up every morning. It was the Beyonce that was angry. It was the Beyonce that felt the need to defend herself. And if this song never comes out, okay, I said it. And I listened to it after I finished, and I said, this is hot. I'm gonna put it out. I'm not gonna sell it. I'm gonna just put it out. People like it, great. They don't. They don't. And I won't do it every day because that's not who I am. But I feel strong. And anyone that says, oh, that is disrespectful, just imagine a person that hates you. Imagine a person that doesn't believe in you. And look in the mirror and say, bow down, bitch. And I guarantee you feel gangster. So listen to that song from that point of view. Again, if you didn't like it before.
This pissed off Rihanna, and she took
Wow.
to Twitter to shade Beyonce.
That's
She posted
crazy.
an article crowning herself the queen of pop in the UK and captioned it, "I only know how to be number one. I could use a challenge. How'd that feel down there on your knees?" A lot of people believe that Beyonce started hating Rihanna after rumors started going around that Jay-Z was messing around with Riri. However, it's now looking like Rihanna refusing to freak off with her and Diddy might have also been another reason. Now, in case you somehow didn't know, Rihanna's publicist started a rumor that Jay-Z was having an affair with Rihanna, but later backtracked with this statement that said, "The PR stunt I did was out of desperation to help break Ponder Replay. It was reckless and I didn't think it was going to work. I was just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what would stick." A lot of people didn't buy this story, especially after Rihanna confessed to Jay allegedly SAing her in his office. She said the day she got signed, Jay locked her up in his office for hours and didn't allow her to leave till she signed with him. But here's the thing though. People speculate that he did more than just force her to sign a contract. Mind you, she was still a minor at the time.
Tell me about your audition with Jay-Z. Tell me what he said to you. A really good audition. Yes. But before I met him, I was so nervous. I was shaking literally. But the moment I walked into the office, the atmosphere was so warm and welcoming. And you had to sing a cappella for him? Yes, I had to sing. I sang Ponder Replay. I sang another ballad from the album last time. Yeah. So then what did he say to you? He said something to you. Oh yes, he said, "We don't sign songs here, we sign artists." And there was this little pause, and I was nervous. But then he said, "And we're interested." And there was this sudden feel of relief. So then he said something about a window and a door or something. Oh, then he said, he did a whole word. I did a lot of homework on you, Miss Lady. He said, "There are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor."
Wow, that was on the 29th floor, bro.
Pen and paper, I'm signing. Yeah. And I'm sure working with Jay-Z, you've met Beyonce. That's right. How was it like meeting her? I could not speak. Really? Really. That's someone I really looked up to for a long time. And it was after one of my showcases, and he was introducing me to everyone from the label. Then he finally said, "Okay, one more person." And there she was. And I could not speak. And she gave you some advice. Yes, she did. She just told me to, when I get on stage, let loose, have fun, and be in control. Yeah, and don't be afraid to let it go. No. Because, she'd be like, "What?"
Wow.
You know how she does it.
And do y'all remember what I said about Beyonce and Jay allegedly sabotaging Rihanna's album release? Because she refused to freak off with them and Diddy? Rihanna's anti-album leaked on Tidal, a platform which is owned by Beyonce and Jay-Z. This leak forced Rihanna to release the album before its initial release date. Meanwhile, Beyonce's album, which was about to be released at the same time as Rihanna's album, got all the promo. Rihanna's album ended up doing just 124,000 copies the first week, while Beyonce's Lemonade album sold 653,000 copies. The feud got so bad that Rihanna and Beyonce were caught avoiding each other at the Tidal press conference. A source who spoke to the T page, Naughty Gossip, said they refused to stand next to each other or speak with each other. The whole show was carefully choreographed, and these two had almost nothing to do with each other. Now it's unclear if Rihanna will be getting on the stand with all of this info, but baby, it's not looking too good for Beyonce because people are still digging and they are piecing things together every day. One person said the fact that Rihanna and Beyonce have not did a song together speaks volumes. That tells it all. Another person said, "Come on, Beyonce knows what Jay is like. She knows her man likes them young. Jay def mess with Rihanna." But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about Rihanna exposing Beyonce's affiliations to Diddy? And do y'all believe Beyonce was really getting diddler at them freak-offs too? Let me know your
Heck yeah. She was there, bro. Of course she was there in them freak-offs. DaBaby confirmed it right there. It all makes sense now with Rihanna record sales going down and why she left the industry and moved away. It all makes sense. Beyonce is a hater, bro. Come on now. She's a great artist, but she's a hater. She kind of like Jay-Z and Diddy. They'll do anything to stay on top of the industry. Anything. They do not want to come second to nobody or nothing at all, bro. They have to be at the number one spot And they would sell their souls, they would do rituals, they would do anything to be number one. So, of course, they've been allegedly saying that she's satanic. She had a drummer that said that she was doing witchcraft and everything else. And DaBaby said that she approached him like on some what's up types. Yes, Beyonce ain't all the little cotton candy that y'all may think that she is. And it's all coming out.